It is dark, it is gruesome, the supernatural of Swamp Thing is horrific! What's up, YouTubers of the world? MegaGeekMixer here to give you guys episode 3 of Swamp Thing, called He Speaks, as in Swamp Thing has spoken. And really, when he spoke, did he really help out Abby in this episode? But it's not just, boy, did we get ourselves a lot going on here. So much to unpack. It's just making my head go wild. It just makes me wonder what Miller mysteries are about to be solved as we get more and more into these things here. First off, let's all begin in with Swamp Thing, with the person he killed in last week's episodes. We thought, now first off, we already know about Swamp Thing. The swamp has the supernatural ability to reanimate a person. We just thought it was the plants and the roots as they reanimated Alec Holland into Swamp Thing. But no, the guy he killed, it turns out there's more supernatural stuff out there, because in the end, he was reanimated. He came back to life as some sort of as like all these bugs all around him got together and reanimated him into some sort of like undead bug zombie. And it was insane, man. It was insane, I'm telling you. Crazy. And yet the particle effects for this stuff, it is unbelievable. The particle effects that particle or practical effects, either way you look at it. When he went out there and attacked this one person before he and Swamp Thing met later on in the show, in this episode, it's just crazy. That scene there was just spectacular. The practical effects they have for that stuff is unreal. And I'm telling you, that's one of the strengths about Swamp Thing. It is unbelievable. Whoever those guys are who did it, they deserve a clap for that. I'm telling you, man, it is great. But besides that, onto the story more so. So like I said, that guy who was killed last time, reanimated as a bug thing and as a bug zombie, and went out hunting for Swamp Thing because it was Swamp Thing who killed him. While all that's going on, you got Abby, who's still processing what the little girl Susie told her about, and the fact that Swamp Thing is Alex Holland. And of course, no surprise, she didn't tell Matt, who was with her. She didn't really tell anyone but Liz. And of course, Liz does believe her, but at the same time, she knows that what she's saying is crazy, and doesn't know really what to think of it. Just like Abby doesn't know what to think of it. And that's why Liz actually asked her, will she be telling anyone else about this? And she's like, no. If I tell them, they're probably going to think I'm crazy. Because really, how else are you going to explain something like that? Because truthfully, how is anyone going to believe something like that? Smart on Abby there. But that on the side right there, things got worse as that disease that was happening when she went to work. First off, she got bad news in the fact that a supervisor from the CDC came, a guy named Dr. Eli, and just taking one look at the guy, and you can tell he and Abby don't have the best relationships. And well, I guess you could say we found out why in the end of this episode. But before that can come up, it's not just that. It's also in the fact that Avery, who had hired this guy who we saw in last week's episode, that doctor who was talking with at his house along with his wife, he was hired on this now. And let's just say his way of working on this stuff is just yeesh. And even Abby's like, no, I do not like this guy, or how he treats patients like assets and not human beings and whatnot. Because he was just chopping through the remains of Eddie, who fell victim to the swamp. And yeah, well, it's one thing, while he may not exactly seem like the best of doctors, he does catch on in some way or form. Not exactly spot on, but he does catch on to the fact of that the plants are attacking humans. And it's almost like what the humans are doing, the plants are attacking back, and the plants are winning while the humans aren't. Of course, Abby doesn't quite get that, but she eventually gets it later on in the episode. But speaking of that doctor, and while he may not exactly be the best man you probably would want to work with, he has his reasons for why he's so determined to work so hard. It's because his wife has like I think those brain diseases that people have where they tend to forget about things that they already did. Like they did things, but then later on they forgot about that. And that's where she's even fearing she's gonna forget him. And let me just say, I know what that feels like, cause on a side note here, I have a cousin who's going through that, and I really worry for him, so I definitely know that feeling, and it is not a pretty feeling at all, guys. Not a pretty feeling at all. But definitely, as we get and continue to move on, and Abby seeing that this disease was getting more infectious because her best friend Harlan, who was with her in episode 1 and has stayed with her throughout the things, well, he has now been infected too, and I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. I really like that guy. That guy's her best friend and like someone she can just talk with and have some fun with. And well, we may not have seen it that much. Just that one episode alone showed us how great their relationship was. And I was like, oh no, please don't kill this guy off. Please do not kill this guy off. And thank God he didn't die, because first off, when finding out that this disease was spreading, Abby was tired of just waiting around and hoping to find some other solution. She decided to go to Alex's house and find the answers there. And well, she did seem to find some notes there, but as it turns out, she couldn't. It doesn't look like she might have found much, because eventually that bug zombie came in, hoping that since she was nearby when Swamp Thing was there and saved her life, or now save Susie's life. Either way, he felt that she might have a connection with Swamp Thing, and luckily Swamp Thing showed up right there and then, and just bang, right off the bat, attacked that guy. Well, not exactly attack, because it was through there that we learned that this isn't exactly that guy who's in control. It's those bugs. They had a control over him. It's like the swamp had a supernatural control over him, and all that was left in that guy's mind was vengeance, and what that swamp was doing was just carrying out the vengeance of some sort. But when Swamp Thing showed up, he was able to get those bugs and the swamp itself to release him from his corpse and everything, and eventually they did just that. But not without Abby showing some bravery. And first off, let me say, Abby showed off some real bravery. I can understand why some people would like him, as one in particular character here I'm not going to get into here soon. But Abby showing off her bravery really is showing. It's pretty much almost like saying Crystal Reeds and her role as Sophia Falcone in Gotham went with her in Swamp Thing, showing off that she can be brave when she needs to be. And that's exactly how it is with all human life. We may not look like we go like we're not brave, but we are brave when we have to be, and it really showed for Abby right there. But after convincing the swamp to let go of that guy, was Swamp Thing able to finally pretty much say that yes, he is Alec, because Abby asked him if he was, and while he didn't necessarily say yes, he said her name, and then he did that arm gesture that Alec did at the first episode when he caught that glass out of her hair, saying that thing that Swamp Thing did, pretty much convincing her that yes, that is Alec. But it's more than that. He also let her know that the plants and stuff aren't exactly fighting, they're fighting back. In other words, any sort of things that the people use against these people who have this disease, the plants just fight back, like they're saying, no, you guys are trying to kill us, but no, you guys are doing that all over there in the swamp, and if you think we're going to let y'all do this to us here as we're infecting these people, no, you're not going to do it. Of course, Abby figures that out. Eli thinks, though, no, she's trying to kill them, and he was even going to get security to come take her out, but eventually when she was able to find out, when she took the advice of Swamp Thing, she was able to stop the disease from infecting her friend, and it's pretty much working out everywhere else now, which led into having a little celebration with a friend of hers who she had been friends with back in high school and stuff. That being Matt Cable, who I mentioned in first episode. I meant to mention him in second episode, but basically this guy has had a crush on Abby ever since high school, and even carries it to this day. because he wanted to ask her to dance on that prom night, which he admitted in episode 2, just as how he admitted that he had a crush on her back in high school and stuff. And yeah, he still has it there, but it seems that also has a problem with a strained relationship with him and his mother. But on that here in a minute, eventually, you guys probably, when we eventually got where Matt was able to get that dance with her, because he was celebrating with her at the bar, and then he was able to set up the music that was playing during that time at their prom and able to dance with her. And when he did that, it basically reminded me of how I'm sure each and every one of us out there have this little thing in us back when we were younger. We wish we could have done with this person we may have had a crush on or something. And yeah, you could say that when we meet them again, we may not have that crush on them again, but you still would at least want to make up for what you didn't get a chance to do back then. So, and trust me, I'm sure we all have that with somewhere out there with somebody out there. or like some way of making up in any way possible. And well, I'm pretty sure we all know Abby is not going to recuperate those feelings. I don't know how Matt Cable's going to take this. And Matt Cable's history, he and Swamp Thing have a frenemy relationship is the best way to put it. Like they're enemies, but they're allies depending on the circumstances. And maybe that's what will happen later on down the line. And like I said, Matt, he's like a cop, but his mother is the sheriff of the entire police department there. And yeah, she doesn't really like Abby or trust Abby, because she's been in episode 2 she was even warning her son not to be chasing this crush around for so long. And even still, like, she seems to resent Abby for some reason. I don't know what that reason is, because even when she confronted Matt about them going after Susie and rescuing her because of Abby, she's still not showing any gratitude or anything. And I'm making me think, like, what is it she have against Abby here? I mean, we all know, like, Maria Sunderland has something against her with Shawna's death and everything, but what's her reason? I don't know. But not only that, do we learn more about that? Oh, do we also learn that she and Avery Sutherland seem to have something of a secret affair sort of thing, but not so much as so that Matt's mother would actually really try to cheat so much, because when she found out that Maria is actually in the house, she just ran off and left. But definitely, since we're already on the Sutherlands, I'm just going to say it right here, guys. Man, do I really hate that Avery guy, and he really shows how much this guy is just despicable to the core. I mean, he is like saying, he talks with his wife, and while he's trying to look like he's comforting and everything, to smooth her way in so he can get some more money to do what he's doing out there to that swamp. And this is where Maria's like, she's already seeing through it, but she kind of was already hinted at it, because when the sheriff left, she was in her bathroom, and right then she was haunted by the reflection of her daughter who was warning her about her father. I mean, about Maria's husband, that being Shawna's father. It's almost like, yes, Shawna knows what's going on there. It almost seemed at first like it was just a ghost, like an illusion or something. But if y'all looked at the mirror when it was cracked and then showed her, and when she disappeared, the crack was still there, showing that yes, this was real. And that's what probably led into Maria knowing that Avery's just being a manipulative bastard. And I really mean a manipulative bastard, because he was wanting to get more money off her, and she's just like, I am not falling for this. You don't care about me. You don't love me. You're just trying to get more money off of me. And if that don't get crazier enough, instead of taking responsibility for his own fault, he takes it out on a guy named Gordon, who's been funding him who's a guy working for the savings loans department and has been funding him for it. And it eventually got to the point where Gordon was like, I don't want out of this. I don't want anything to do with this. And he did that to him earlier when he visited him, saying he didn't want that. And then Avery goes in at the end of the other episode saying that it's your fault. You come in here, disrespect me, embarrass me in front of my wife, and when Maria wasn't even there. You see? And so, yeah, this guy, just nuts. Just just a manipulative, egotistic fool who just doesn't want to accept his responsibility. Because in the end, he kills that Gordon guy. I mean, Goro or Gordon, I can't remember exactly. But before I also end this, let me just say, Liz, the friend that Abby was the only one to tell her about what Susie told her about that Swamp Thing being Alec Holland. Let me just say that this woman, we may have not seen much of her reporting skills, but just that one scene alone when she was talking to that Goro or Gordon guy, man, did she really show that. She may not be like a Lois Lane or anything, but she could be up there with her because she just shows real fire and showing when she wants some answers and some truths here, because she knew what source to go to, and she already even knew about Avery and his manipulative ways. And well, it's Liz who Avery last sees after he had killed that Goro guy. But Liz didn't see what happened. She was just knocking at that guy's door, thinking he was in there, not knowing that Avery was looking through the eye window and she just left afterwards. Now, what could all this mean going forward? I don't know. All I just know is this is amazing, guys. This has been the darkest one yet, especially with all the stuff we saw here. Definitely getting even more up there in that content of rated R content, like serious though. And man, the genre of this horror thing is beyond believable. It's like I said, it is horrific. But that'll be all for today, guys. And man, I am enjoying this. It's really sad that this is being canceled. I hope in some way they find a way to get season 2 back out. But in either case, guys, if you're enjoying my videos, all you gotta do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, MegaGeekMixer signing out. Bye!